I am sitting here in Florence at a vaccine clinic, getting rabies vaccines on 10 dogs. I have them all in the truck. There's 2 dogs per crate, and then Velvet's sitting here next to me right now. Actually, it's not quite per crate. I have 3 that are in small crates. So they called in to the vet to see if she wanted to come out here and give them, or if they were going to bring them inside, because it's a lot of dogs. And I did tell them they were 2 to a crate. So instead of coming over here and taking 2 at a time in, they start doing all the cars behind me. And so far, since I have moved up to the very front of the row, I have seen about 6-7 cars leave, and a bunch of people walking in with dogs from all these cars. I have counted at least probably 14 dogs going inside, and yet here I sit. Their logic doesn't make sense. They go, wow, that's a lot of dogs. You're not taking them all at once. It's not like I expect you guys to grab 10 leashes. And the one gal says, well, we need a lot more volunteers. No, you don't. You've got, I've seen at least 10 to 12 people with leashes. And right there goes 3 dogs. There goes 3 dogs. Yeah. So another car just left. Looks like this car is either pulling all the way up or they're leaving. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people, 5 people standing down there with leashes, looking completely lost. As I sit here, I think I'm going to have to just start getting dogs out and maybe taking them in myself, because I have been here since 5 o'clock when it started. Because it started way over there. And there's still people over there waiting. And it is 6:42. Yeah. And I've been sitting in this line probably a good hour. Yeah. And here comes a gal with the tiny dog. Yeah. I don't understand the logic, but it's very annoying. And I'm ready to leave. I even have 3 in little crates. I think I said that. 3 in crates that they could carry in. So they'd only be leashing 7. I swear. People's logic. I hope there's a survey after this. I mean, I know it's a rescue and all, but oh my God. By the time it has taken them to take all these dogs and all these cars that have left, they could have taken my dogs 2 at a time. 1 at a time, honestly. Because there goes another carrier. There goes another carrier. And yet here I sit. Okay, well this is ridiculous. So a follow-up as to what happened the other night at that vaccine clinic. I got the dogs out, the 3 that were in the crate, and I put them up on my tailgate. And then I grabbed 2 dogs on slip leashes. I always use slip leashes on my dogs. I don't put collars on them. So I had a volunteer walk by, and she said something. And I said, well, I'm waiting. I've been waiting for a very long time. And she said, well, let me go in and see what's going on. Because I was like, can I just take them myself? Because for one, I saw these volunteers dragging dogs in. And I kind of was a little upset about that. Because I'm like, what are they going to do when they get my dogs inside? My dogs react. Which they probably won't. But I don't want my dogs afraid of people in situations like this. And many dogs were clearly not having it. So they were having to drag them. The owners were having to walk with them part of the way. It was kind of a fiasco. Definitely was not a fear-free moment. So about 8 minutes later, she finally comes back out with the veterinarian. And the veterinarian looked annoyed as heck. Which I would imagine so. She's probably been standing there for 2 hours poking dogs with needles, dealing with volunteers. But it's what you signed up for. So I had the 2 dogs on leash, and they came over, and I held them, and the volunteer was trying to grab them from me, and I was holding them. I was like, yeah, I got them. So I went to put those 2 dogs back into their crates, and I grabbed another one, and I really wasn't paying attention to what the vet was doing. I assumed they were standing there waiting for me, and I turned and looked, and they were yanking my dogs out of the crates. The 3 little ones. Again, remember I said I don't use collars on my dogs. I just use slip leashes. I don't need to. I just reach in there and grab them, and they could have easily just poked him while I held him. So by the time I got there, they were doing Hogan, and they're like, "Is this dog bite?" And I'm like, "Probably." It didn't stop the volunteer. She still reached in there and grabbed him and yanked him out. He didn't bite. I'm surprised. You know, I didn't raise him. I got him when he was a little older, and he's been known to nip when scared. And I totally agree with him, because he looked a little terrified. So then we got the other two from the crate that I had on leash done, and then I grabbed Velvet, who was just sitting next to me in the truck, and then I had two more on the other side, and we walked around, and the volunteer walks up and immediately opens the crate and goes to reach in. I was like, "I'll get him. Hold on." I was a little appalled that these volunteers were just reaching in and grabbing dogs. So I can only imagine what was going on inside with these people that, I guess, I don't know if these are just volunteers. I don't know if they worked there. I don't know if they had any training, but just to come up and grab a dog like that was just kind of worrisome. I mean, like I said, my dogs are usually pretty good, but if they bit them, that would not have been on the dog. It'd been on the people reaching and grabbing them. It's like not even walking up calmly, just reaching in and grabbing the dog. So I was able to grab, well, I had Bianca and Ryder together, and I grabbed Bianca and I held her out, and then I grabbed Ryder. I said, "Let me grab Ryder." And then they handed me the papers and walked away, and that was it. Yeah, I've been to these vaccine clinics before. I have never had one operate quite like this. The way it was set up was just, it was kind of ridiculous. I mean, I know there's a lot of people, they're trying to, and they even said they're trying to do stuff to make it easier. And then the next time, hopefully it'll be better. And I was like, I ain't coming back to one of these. Heck no. There's vaccine clinics all over the place. So this was terrifying. They had, when you first pull in, there was like 2 lines of cars, and then you had to merge into one line. And you know what people are going to do in a situation like this? They ain't going to let you merge. Run you over. And then you had to stop a couple different places, just kind of like checkpoints. You had to pay at one place and then drive all the way around. So had I not already paid, I would have left. And then you pull up and you have a number on your truck. Well, they put a number on there because I had pre-registered. And they said, "Have you pre-registered?" And I thought, well, it said pre-registration required. So of course I pre-registered. I don't know if these other people did, but there was a clear sign when you pull in also that said pre-registration required. It was online. So I don't know if these other people hadn't registered, and why were they getting in ahead of us that had. Oh well. So we get over on the other side, and then we form 2 lines again, and we just kind of move up, and one lane just kept, maybe they only had 1 dog each, but they just kept going and going and going, and the lane I was in was really slow. Finally, I kept having to move up, and I'm like, are they going to keep track of everybody? No, they weren't. So by the time they did get me, I was number 65, and the lady was like, "Oh my God, we're like on 84 now." Because you just left me sitting there. And she apologized. She said, "Oh, I forgot about you. You had messaged into the office to see about the 10 dogs. And my whole point was there were so many volunteers walking around, but they couldn't take my dogs 1 at a time or 2 at a time. They wanted the vet to come out and do it. It made no sense to me, and it looks like it didn't make any sense to the vet either. But either way, that was a fiasco that I won't put my dogs in that situation again.